Hello, hello, Matheus. Hello, dear audience. Today we have a treat. Somebody's going to be with us, Matheus Almeida, who's going to bring us news from the past that will help us look toward the future with hope. Matheus Almeida, you bring with you the world of the ancient Chinese medicine. Would you introduce yourself and tell us
Yes,
what brings you here?
yes. Good morning to you all. Thank you, everyone, that I'm here with you. Laura, thank you so much for interviewing me. I feel very honored for that. Well, I'll try to make the long story short. Basically, I work with Chinese medicine for over 15 years, and I always feel very pensative, a lot of thoughts in my head to what is Chinese medicine about and how that can add to the prenatal life. How can assist the life that is about to come in this world? And it's what is interesting, Laura, is what I think that Chinese medicine is not about disease. And
Ah,
it's not exactly about health, but it's about life. And the very core of not only Chinese medicine, but the Chinese philosophy, philology, cosmology, and so on, it's that everything is in motion, it's in movement. Everything, everything is in a change, you see? And life is changing all the time. And Chinese medicine respects the change of life, the mutation. And that is the concept that is the core of this medicine, the aging or the constant change. And what is interesting, in my opinion, is that when I think about it and I think about life itself, I feel very honored to talk about the beginning of it. Because there is a saying, there is a Chinese saying that the physician must see inside the seed the tree that is about to come.
this is fantastic. So you guys have an idea of a higher harmony that unites many fields. Because, for instance, you give classes to professionals, um, to doctors in Chinese medicine. Are they curious, like you are, about prenatal life?
That's hard because first of all they want not exactly to know Chinese medicine. They want to know how to treat disease with a different tool because
Mm.
basically most of them they are uh, healthcare professionals, so they want another tool. But that isn't another tool. There is a medicine with all the concepts and the different points of view and the way to treat the individual, the humankind differently.
Yes, so they already come too late. They are already with a diseased person. Now, you told me about this extraordinary man who was probably a poet and philosopher, but he was the main gynecologist, pediatrician, somehow of ancient Chinese medicine. He would teach the other professionals in his time. Would you tell us about
Ah,
him?
yes, gladly. His name is Sun Simiao, and I will check the time that he lived. It was Sui and Tang Dynasty. It was around 581 before Common Era, and he lived for 100 years, and that's a lot for that time. And so Sun Simiao was considered Yao Wan, it's the king of medicine. And what is interesting is in in history, they say that he never assessed a single patient, but he ruled in yang, that we call it the tiger and the dragon. So all physicians would come to him for advice and to understand how to treat especially difficult disease or difficult unbalance. That's the name that I would prefer to use. And now he's a deity, so people worship Sun Simiao for ask his
Oh,
ad.
he's a
Yeah,
deity.
yes, there is an image of Sun Simiao that people go there to worship to him.
Okay. So,
But
did he teach about the womb and the
yes,
incoming?
that is the most important thing of his work. Okay, there is a book called Peiji Tianjin Yao Feng. It's a prescriptions worth 1,000 codes in every emergency. That's the name of this book. And in this book, he elaborates. He's not presenting anything because everything it's in our canon. That is Huan Teenaging Wending Shu. That's a very canon of Chinese medicine. That all other physicians that came after that, like Sun Simiao, they could elaborate this canon because it's a very difficult book to read and to interpret. So he presented in a different way the gynecology, obstetrician, how to take care of kids. He was the physician responsible to put a spotlight in women, in children, in the womb. And he started to note the relevance of taking care of women and children for the future of humanity.
And he knew about our heavenly essence, right?
Ah, yes. How can I tell that? Okay, I'll take another note here. Then I think I can start with that. When you say about heavenly essence, this is something that we talk about all the time. There is a concept of Sanbao, which is or Sansai, which is the three treasures or the three capacities. And it is about, we have a heavenly nature, we have a bodily nature, and we have something that is between that we call Shan, Qi, and Jing, which is our consciousness, our dynamic, and our body itself. So essence or heavenly essence, Laura, it's all about Chinese medicine. We talk that all along with all the concepts, all the most important concept of it. But not only Sun Miao, but in many Taoist texts that they they put a spotlight in the womb, they say something that is very interesting. It's what is about the shape of the body and what's about how is it developing. Okay, Alexa, para. There is Alexa here. And yes.
Alexa, yes. Siri, Alexa, all these guys.
And we call it in Chinese Xin. Xin is the inner nature that it's in contact with our celestial body, which means this is our imprinting, our how the humanity shows itself to the world. And there is another.
So it's about taking shape into matter. That's the whole process.
Yes.
But Matheus, I know that we could stay the whole afternoon with you, the whole day. But what's up to the mother to do? What should she bring, or the couple? What would heaven expect a pregnant woman to do, to be aware of? How should she behave in that moment that she's uniting heaven and earth for the body of a son or a daughter?
First of all, if I think in the first chapter of Suen, one of these canons of Chinese medicine, I would say that is the desire, first of all. Um, in Chinese, you have a very many different translation of the same thing. So desire is the 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 guidance,
Yeah,
okay, which means that I know we can talk about a lot of things in the matter of concept, but for Chinese, for the ancient Chinese perspective, we say that the desire of the mother, of the father, that is the time of the conception will happen. And after that, they must be emerged for a lot of emotions, positive emotions that will create a field in this womb. So this new being that is coming will be able to develop. So the state of mind of the couple, and that is very important to state, it's the couple. Of course, the mother is the main role, but the couple is the relevant for a good development of this baby. And I like to say baby, I don't like to say embryo or fetus. I like to say
yeah,
baby because
yeah.
I think everybody should understand that even before the conception, if there is a desire, there is already a human being in development, you see. And what
Yeah.
I mean is acknowledging the development of the new life, not only when it's in the last trimester of pregnancy.
Yeah. So you're bringing a very essential point here, and all of us in Prenatal Alliance want to bring this to the global culture. When we wish, when we want, it's a part of us that is sacred. When we are desiring for the coming of a child, I want to, I want to be the home
Mm.
of a new being on earth. And that wanting from the couple will allow for pregnancy to have a completely different nature than if it's just on automatic pilot, or perhaps I can get pregnant and so what, or I'm exaggerating here, but we need this desire. And if we
Yes.
offer that to the heavens, something can be done about it. It's almost as if we would offer them our nectar, and then the
Mhm.
child can come. Do you see that energetically?
Yes, and what is interesting, it's about the consciousness or the state of mind of the couple, of the mother. It means that if that desire is genuine, it's not because it's the time, it's my age, it's society, but it's genuine. You will help your baby to fulfill his celestial mandate. That's the Qiang That's a very important concept of Chinese medicine. Because you were given the ability of this being to develop. And the way that especially the mother understand this way, and the way that she will behave, and the way that she will eat, and the way that she will think about the baby, it will shape the development of the body itself of these children.
Yeah.
And these children or this baby that is getting in development, he will send good informations for this mother, and it will shape her own body. And there is a hope. It's almost a homophone in Chinese, Laura. It's very hard to find a word of mind, emotion, body, spirit, you see. But in Chinese, there is a word called shen. Shen it's, can be translated as spirit, spirits, divinity, God, goddess, consciousness, mind. This is all the translation possible for shen. And it's the ability of the imprinting of the self in this world and how we are dealing with that. And shan, that is almost a homophone, but it's a different sound. When one is shan and the other is shan, it's body itself. In modern Chinese, we don't use shan alone, it's shanti. But in the classics, they could use Ti alone or Shan alone. And so Shan means the body that is changing all the time. The image of this diagram, of this character, it's a person that is pregnant, which means that it's just gestating itself all the time. So it's changing all the time. And what changes the body is the perception, is the desire, is the ability to understand what is around, the awareness of everything that's around. That's the meaning of Shan, could be consciousness, which means even when this mother has this consciousness about gestation, she is helping this new being to fulfill his Tianmin, heavenly mandate, because he will be more close to the inner nature that is celestial than to the what the Wang Fangyi, that's a very important author, called the body of transgression. The body of transgression, it's something that we are more close to the addictions, to the I have to do that, the obligations, and not what is
Flowing.
smooth, flowing with life. Life is like a river, it's flowing all the
I
time.
love it. I love it that you brought the importance of preconception. When my husband and I decided to open ourselves up for the possibility of a conception, I remember my life, but inwardly, that's something we would even talk about so easily. But everything became solemn. I mean, eating an apple, taking a walk, cleaning a house, taking a shower. There was something more to it, a dimension that was added to it. You know, like in the movies when suddenly the music, the soundtrack changes, and you know something is about to happen. That's what my life was, and of course, when I was pregnant also. So, in order to attract a soul that will be in affinity with the way this couple is, and a soul that would be able to use that platform the couple would offer to just go and spring towards his or her own life after having spent some time, usually it's 18 years, nowadays not just 10 years or a little childhood. So that is a way of helping the incoming soul, even before conceiving it, to fulfill an earthly destiny. This is big. This is big, but you know it's now been proven
Yeah,
with the epigenetics and also the observation that when the woman is ready to conceive, the level in the membrane of each first cell, you know those little first cells, they're multiplying. In their membrane, there will be more receptors for growth factors than if the mother is unaware of a possible conception or doesn't even want to be pregnant. So, and growth factors will be so important because growth is what we need during a pregnancy. The life, prenatal life, is about development and growth.
yes.
So now I want you to step into what would be, now that we know these traditions from ancient China, ancient India, and many ancient traditions, now
Yes.
we can almost touch them in the laboratories with people who study epigenetics. Now it's becoming a political choice. Are we going to protect pregnancy? When I say protect, is are we going to enhance the life of pregnant women, pregnant couples, because they are the future of every nation? Look at
Yeah.
all the psychiatric hospitals, look at all the prisons, look at these maladjustments that have plagued our civilization for centuries and millennia. So, Matheus, what can we bring to our governments today?
Sun Semiao always stated about that, in fact, that he said, if you want to have a future, but a good future, we have to protect our women and our children, and of course, pregnant women. And that is, it's so important, Laura, because there I see all the system around, and now the world, it's very easy to get in touch with each other. You see, you are in your house and in my house, and a lot of people are watching us in their own house, and we are connected, which means that we are we really have a chance to connect deeply and to change experience and to exchange experience and to help one another. And I see the social system so in a different way of that, like we are not taking care of, we must take care, we are taking care of things that are small things like cars, objects, and so on. And when you need to look at another human being as another human being, we fail of doing that because we are very worried about small things. And yes, the government, it's what leads us. They are our leaders. And being our leaders, it's like a father that guide the children. There is a saying of Confucius that is, it's about when an emperor can fulfill his duty of an emperor, when the father can be a father and the children can act as a children, the world is in peace. That's
Wow.
Confucius.
We need fathers. We need emperors.
Yes, and that's the saying in Chinese, very simple. He was like Titi, Papa, Zhi. It's just those characters. And that's the point, is when we play our role, but it's not playing our role as a movie character, it's playing our role as our identity,
Yeah. When we embody
being
who we
genuine
really
with
are.
us.
Yeah. To embody who we really are.
Is exactly. And you remembered me when I was explaining epigenetics brilliantly. The Zhuangzi, that's a Taoist philosopher, he proved what you said differently about the way things get changed with the consciousness. When we are conscious about something, everything around changes and prepare to organize whatever we want. That is a story about the pig. I don't know the whole story, but it's about the pig. And there is a mother pig, and there is her babies that all times seek for her for breastfeeding. They want her milk, but the mother pig dies, and when she dies, her her babies do not look at her anymore because they can't identify that body as their mother, because something that make this identification, it's not there anymore, so that's not their mother anymore. And
Wow.
usually Joanze give examples with animals because they act by instinct. So they see a dead body, oh, that's not my mother, because the thing that animated that body, which I could identify her as my mother, it's no longer there.
Yeah. Yeah, we do the same. We bury our loved ones. We don't remain with their body. The person
Yes,
isn't there anymore. Was there 5 minutes before, but not anymore. When the
yeah.
person dies, yeah, life is subtle, but it's our real strength. Well, Mateus, it's fantastic to have this knowledge, but our normal culture takes us away from our inner life.
Ah,
We even
good.
we want to bring it out, that inner life, and if we bring it out, it's not inner anymore. So we want to do a selfie. Look at me meditating. It's not a meditation anymore. And what would be your advice for couples who are starting to think about having a child? What would you tell this woman and this man who might be conceiving in the next few months? Um, from your standpoint of ancient Chinese medicine, how would you advise them to prepare for their future?
This advice might be a little bit strange or awkward, but it will make sense. Um, Less comfort and more awareness, because we live in a world that we are looking for comfort all the time, and by doing that we get away from our inner core, inner essence, because every sentient thing, every sentient being here on earth requires effort for doing something, which means if this couple will be able to seek, to look for good professionals, and at the same time acknowledging his body knowledge, which means I will seek aid in things that I don't know, but at the same time, I will make the effort for looking inside myself, for acknowledging my own existence as I am, and I will do my best to fulfill that, to organize that. And I think that's very, very hard, Laura. I understand that completely. But we are all the time looking for something that I don't need effort to do. And if you think about a plant, we talk about that one day, and if you think about a plant that there is no effort to grow, if we look for, I don't know, an animal that there is no effort to walk or to live, it's weak.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
weak.
Yeah, I lived in California and I realized, I used to comment that with my husband, comfort anesthetizes the mind.
Yes.
We start not thinking in the thinking process because it disturbs to think. If I have an idea, I might change something in my way of behaving or doing things, and that will, of course, will require effort, but it will disturb. But harmony is never something stopped.
Ah,
This is
that's perfect. Yes, yes, exactly that. We think harmony as something that is still and won't move anymore. No, no, it's balance. It's in constant motion. It's
yeah.
like riding a bike. I can't stop, so I can stay balanced. There is, I think, to complement my point of view, a Confucian aspect of a very, very deep Confucian aspect called for Wang Fangyi, this Chinese author. It's about to organize the body. We don't have to put away hard work. We have to go for it. To comfort the heart, we have to be in truth with our emotions and to seek help others. And to get in touch with our inner nature, we have to put away the small things, the
Hmm.
not the desires that are not genuine, the small desires, and
Yeah.
and
And you
to
start
really.
by being aware. I often says
That's
it takes
the point that I said. Less comfort and more awareness.
it takes actually consciousness, I said, and courage, two
Oh, a
important,
lot of courage, a lot of
some
courage.
daring, some daring. But then you start conquering mastership over
Oh,
yourself, the
yeah,
sovereignty that
yeah.
we need. Um, yes,
I think we
we,
need to really, really, really acknowledge our existence because it's all the time taken away from us, Laura. Ah, you don't know about your body. Let me talk about it. But the first thought that I offer my patients is everything that I know about physiology, pathology, and so on. To me, it's only theory because I'm not living what my patient is living, but I'm connecting signs and symptoms. I'm checking the pulse, the tongue, and so on. So I make a theory, a diagnostic, but the patient or every one of us are the only one that we are living this kind of suffering or this kind of delight. I can't tell exactly how you're feeling, for example, Laura, but you can if you are truth with yourself.
Yeah.
But I can look at your face and say, oh, you're smiling. I think you're feeling good right now. Tell me about it. So one is my perception. The
Yeah.
other thing is your perception.
Yeah. Well,
So
you have that book, the Biology of Belief, where Bruce Lipton, this great cell biologist, one of the first translators of epigenetics, he tells us you really will have the biology according to the way you see life and you
yes,
see
yes,
yourself. So this is so Chinese at the same
yes.
time.
To me, the most important thing is when I thought about this theme, looking back to smile forward, is we live in a society that the old, it's it's old-fashioned, it's old, it's the time already passed, and the new, it's what's the most. But
Yeah,
we are only understanding the new. We're only looking for new things if we acknowledge the old. We must
yeah,
acknowledge that. And this is a very beautiful thing of what I understand of China. It's the old person, the old theory is there for a reason, and we must look at that. Once, Laura, I was in a conference, and this conference was opened by a Zen Buddhist monk. And in his open speech, he didn't say a word about medicine, but he said about knowing the history. And he was like, if we know our history, we won't make the same mistakes that we once did. We will learn with that, and we will repeat things that was good for us, but we insist to ignore the past
yeah.
and to repeat the same mistakes in the future.
It's very sobering. When I was a mom with a child in primary grades or even in high school, and I had to help my kid with history lessons, I would usually ask my husband to do it because I remember being kind of ashamed to have to introduce to our daughter
Huh.
the fact that we were still doing the same things, that
Yes,
history had not opened our eyes a little bit more. But we should have solved so many problems not to start a new war, and we still go for armament and we start new wars as if this time it would be the solution. Yeah, it's a little bit absurd.
what I
No,
usually
it,
say.
it reminds me of the roots of a tree. Without good roots, without leaves,
Yes, yes,
there were no flowers, no fruits, no
yeah,
leaves. Yeah.
yes, and that is prenatal life. That is the root.
That is prenatal life. Oh, Matheus, listen, it was fabulous to hear you. I know that we want more. We might do other
Yes, gladly.
conversations like this, especially in Portuguese. Um, this should be common knowledge. I know that some people will hear us this morning and say, oh, my goodness, never thought of that. But I want this, and we all at Prenatal Alliance want the world to know those simple principles that will allow us to deal with all these pseudo problems that we have with pregnancy and infertility. When you say, please don't run away from effort, like better yourself, better the way you you deal with life, make your thoughts more clear, your feelings warmer towards each other, towards the world. Make that effort of inner growth, so then you'll be preparing to conceive. This is gorgeous.
Ah,
Thank you. Thank you
brilliant.
so much.
It's a very pleasure to stay here with you, with everybody that is watching us, that will watching us. It's really, really a pleasure.
Yeah. Sometimes I really rejoice with what you say about ancient Chinese medicine. And sometimes I wonder if we should cry, like it has been with us for so many centuries. Why don't we do something with it? Oh my goodness, in the collective way, because
Yeah.
of course there were always people um, who had the advantage of knowing those things. But this should be for everybody. It should get to the collective. This is our wish at Prenatal Alliance, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.